Hey guys, welcome back to the Noble Broker Podcast. I am your host, Jonathan Lickstein, and today I have a special guest and friend, Ricky Smith from Guardian Angel Inspections. Thanks for coming, Ricky.
Of course.
I appreciate you taking the time to come here and take the bull by the horns.
No problem.
I did that, a little dad joke to start us off. So, Ricky, you're in inspections. You are an integral part of the sales process for a home buyer getting into a property,
right?
And you help alert them to save them thousands and thousands of dollars down the road by discovering things up front, which is extremely important not only for the buyer but for the agent along the way. How did you get into home inspections?
A friend of mine just kind of, full story or like Cliff's Notes version?
As long as it's not an hour-long story, you can go full story.
All right, it's intense, but it's not an hour long. 2014, wife and I were both working corporate jobs, not getting home until late, and we had a tragedy occur in the family. We lost our 2-year-old to a drowning. Kind of changed our perspective on life, changed our perspective on everything. And once we kind of were able to semi-breathe again, decided we wanted to do something different, get out of the corporate world, start doing things that could help, and it just helped. We had such an outpouring of love when everything happened. People we didn't know from across the state, across the country, wrote us notes, sent us flowers, sent us, last thing you want to do is cook, so food was always showing up. And we just kind of wanted to pay it forward, So Guardian Angel was founded. The little blonde guy in our logo, that's our Nick. So we're doing it to help people. We're doing it to, just do everything we can to pay it forward, help the community, help people.
How did you zero in on home inspections being that way?
A friend of mine was an inspector, and I had a conversation with him. And he said, listen, it's a good place. You're literally guiding people in making the right decision on a property. So, if you're looking to help, this is a great place to start.
You're their protector, you're their guardian angel.
Right.
Yeah. So something that you guys have mentioned, and I just know about your business through hearing you speak, it's something that really resonated with me going along with the message of why you got into this, right? So what is something unique you do with home buyers that use you guys for inspections?
So we started last year and just kind of continued on because it had great impact. And that is every house we inspect that has a pool that doesn't have a child safety fence, we put those home buyers into a drawing. And every quarter we pull a name and we actually pay to put a child safety fence around someone's pool for them.
That's coming full circle to the message of how you got into it and how you're impacting people even way after the sale when you're not going to be making money off of them.
Right.
It's just the right thing to do given circumstances. So really commendable, tremendous respect for you doing that. So running a business always faces challenges.
Yeah.
Right? And especially starting a new business. When was Guardian Angel founded?
2015.
Okay. So you're 9 years in. It's relatively still a new business, right? When you consider some businesses have been around for 40, 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges that you think are common with people starting their business? This can go across real estate, inspections, it could be a food store, it doesn't matter.
Finding the right who. Finding the person to help you go to the next level is key, The person that helped me go to the next level was my wife. The first 3 years it was just me. She was working for Johnson & Johnson. She's a quality analyst by trade, and not bringing her in. She kind of told me she was coming in. I didn't have a choice at that point.
You have a choice. You were voluntold.
Exactly. So she came into the business and kind of helped put processes and procedures in place. And that's key, is having process and procedure for everything. You can't just wing it. But finding the right person and realizing that you are not the best at everything. Find what you're good at, find what other people are good at, and work with those people.
That is a great way to look at it. You can't do everything yourself. The hardest skill for a business leader to learn is delegation. Is you start off by doing everything,
right?
When you open your business. And it's the same thing for a realtor. When they get their license, you're opening a business and you have to do everything. But you'll never get past your own limitations if you don't find a key person and delegate that stuff to let them do it.
And getting past the thought of you can do it better, because there's always somebody that can do it better than you.
I'm still trying to get past that thought. Still trying. But we delegate, and you have to trust the people around you that you've made the right decisions.
Right.
So home inspections, as we said, is an integral part of the process. It could also be something that is catastrophic. How do you balance doing what's right for the person and not being one of those inspectors that just kills a transaction because you were too overprotective?
Well, the inspectors that come in and kill a transaction that's all about pride. That's all about look how much I know, right? We're not there to be proud. We're not there to show off and showboat. We're there to give information and facts. And that's key. Like when we bring an inspector in and we ask them, how would you explain this to a client? How they explain that is super important. You cannot be an alarmist. You can't make mountains out of molehills. You can't find a GFI outlet not working and tell them the house is going to burn down. You know, so it's really just not being an alarmist. It could, but you don't say that, right? You explain the importance of it. It's more about shock than it is burning down, but it's all about delivering the fact, leaving speculation out of it. The worst question we get asked is, would you buy this house? It's not up for me to decide. I can tell you what we found in the house, and then you have to get with your agent and make that decision.
That is a tough spot to be.
Uh-huh.
But you review the entire summary of what you guys have found in the property,
Right.
and the buyer says, if it was you, would you buy this house? My normal response would be, I probably would be under contract with this house to begin with. It's not my style. But just defer through humor.
But even then you try something like that, and it
could go horribly
bites
wrong.
you in the butt.
Yeah. And then you're tarnishing your relationship with that agent who recommended you guys.
Right.
It's a fine line to walk.
It is.
It is. So in real estate showing properties, I know I walked into surprises all the time. I can only imagine with how detailed home inspectors are. You guys go up in the attic, you go on the roof, you go through all of these spaces where it's not so trafficked all the time. Do you have any crazy stories for us?
Not really safe for work, but yeah,
Okay.
we've found all kinds of stuff. People's hidden stashes of things they probably shouldn't have. Teenagers' hidden stashes of things they shouldn't have. But yeah, it's really, you walk into somewhere and somebody doesn't want you to do something. We've had somebody go through, they didn't want us to test any of the doors. So the tenant was a lady and she hung all of her underwear on every single doorknob. We're not going to touch somebody's underwear.
I think your report included more than one non-mentionable.
Yes.
But there's got to be some stuff that's common, or not necessarily common, but that surprises you, that maybe somebody's trying to cover up or doing work themselves that ends up costing them more in the end.
Absolutely. People will remodel themselves and just kind of do a quick remodel, lipsticks on pigs, you know. So we've seen those all the time. Go in, the house is beautiful, brand new 1920s house, beautiful floors, remodel bathroom, remodel kitchen, new appliances, everything, and then slide under the house and it's still got the original cast iron that's just making a lake under the home. Or it's still got original knob and tube, no ground anywhere. So we've seen that too. And that's a $30,000 repair, just the wiring.
It's something that you would walk through the house and think, oh, this is beautiful, this is great, it's fantastic, it's completely renovated, but the guts of the home is where the problem lies.
Right.
That's I'm sure that's common.
It is. More often than not, actually.
So technology always plays a role in business.
Absolutely.
Right? And coming from the outside in real estate, the biggest technology aspect I've seen from inspections is the manner and speed that you're able to deliver a report. Right? You go through the home, you're doing it on an iPad, a smartphone, however you're doing the inspection, dictation, and then poof, you can spit out that report really quickly. What are some of the evolutions in technology in your industry, and where are you excited for where it could go?
So when I started, everything was point and shoot camera, you know, and that was a very manual process. Take the pictures, go home, upload them into the software, start dumping them where they go, label everything, put your comments in. It was time consuming. So then it progressed into actually the software is on your phone. There's an app. You just take your pictures. You put in a comment. We have a lot of common comments, so we call them auto comments.
Common.
Common comments. So you just put you click the comment. You attach a picture to it. Put a label on the picture and save it. And it's done. It automatically goes to the cloud. No more servers at the office storing gobs and gobs of pictures. Everything is cloud based.
Yeah.
That's been the biggest thing. has been that.
Okay.
Talk to text is huge too, unless you have somebody following you around.
Yeah.
Then you're trying to talk in there, what's this? And then it puts what's this in your comments.
Do you remember that old show, that Chappelle show? You had the home stenographer. It'd be a little guy strapped to his back that's following around dictating everything that happens. Vaguely. That would work well for home inspectors.
Yeah.
So are there any other technology evolution?
Absolutely. Thermal camera has been huge. Help you find moisture where it's otherwise undetectable. Drones have been nice. Not having to go and rent a 40-foot ladder to get onto a roof when you just put a drone in the air. As long as you're not near an airport or an army base or anything, you're fine. That's been huge too.
That probably makes life easier,
Absolutely.
faster, less dangerous.
Yeah, we prefer the inspectors walk the roof because you're going to get a better feel. But if it's not safe to walk, then drones go in there.
Okay. At what point I've seen buyers come through and they'll order a home inspection and then have to have you guys come back out like 2 weeks later. Oops, I forgot the 4-point wind mitigation inspection.
Right.
How do you guys handle that, or how do you mitigate a buyer?
We don't go back out for that.
Okay.
We take all the necessary information while we're on site.
Okay.
Because I don't want to waste your time as an agent going back out there. If there's a tenant or a homeowner, you have to coordinate dogs and kids and all kinds of other stuff.
Even if they didn't order it?
Even if they didn't order it. It takes an extra 5 minutes on site to make sure you have all the necessary information, and then we have it. And then if the inspector happens to be out that performed the inspection, we can still log into that cloud of that inspection, pull the pictures, put the order together, put the wind mitigation and 4-point together, and send it off to the client.
So it's an easy snap, no
Correct.
big deal. That's very efficient and forward-thinking of you to get that done. There's nothing more frustrating than needing something. You have to get the insurance set up as an agent in order for us to match and get our final clear to close. And oops, we didn't get a 4-point
Right.
limit. Now we have to schedule to get back out there. There's, like you said, there's a tenant, there's a dog. It's a lot harder to get somebody back in and do that retroactively. So that's very, very smart of you.
The listing agent already pulled the lockbox off.
Yeah.
That's another one. Yeah, it's fun stuff.
It's got a code, a combo box. Oh, the key's not in there anymore. The tenant took it. How do you, with inspections being something that's, I'm not going to say volatile, but it's something that comes up quickly, right? You get a call today, they want the inspection today.
Right.
They're not pre-scheduling 2 weeks out. So your schedule tends to change quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
And you guys cover a large geographic area.
Orlando to Miami.
So how do you keep yourself organized with your day and your team running around in such a wide range of areas that you cover? Is there like a daily routine that keeps you on task?
Well, again, it's making sure you hire the right people. We have office staff ready to answer phones. They're available. We have online scheduling, another tech thing.
Mm-hmm. You forgot that part.
Yeah, I know. I forget a lot.
You could have had technology that reminded you about it.
Right. Yeah. So, and now I'm sidetracked and forgot.
It's okay.
So the people will call and say, hey, listen, I really need an inspection this afternoon. We keep the staffing just right. So that way, if somebody does call at 9 o'clock in the morning, we can squeeze them in at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Or worst case scenario, the next morning. We encourage people to be able to get that contract. Sometimes they have to write a 3 or a 5 day inspection period. And the average inspector that's, maybe a one-man show or him and a helper, sometimes they can't get out there. So we staff accordingly. Inspectors are hired in the areas where they're obviously hired where they live, right? Because we're not going to change that, but they're hired in areas that we cover. So as we start seeing, okay, we need more coverage in, say, St. Lucie, we'll hire an inspector in St. Lucie. So we've got an inspector that lives in Lake Placid, we've got an inspector in Miami, so they're just kind of all spread out to be able to cover the geographic area we do.
It's funny, you never really consider the other side of the equation, right? On the real estate side, on the realtor side, we're thinking we have X being done, we're servicing the consumer, the home buyer, the home seller, and we're just more reactive to what they have going on and planning out timelines we know. But then when we come to you and it's, hey, we need this done right now, there's really no consideration or perspective given on your inspector, your schedule, et cetera. For you to keep somebody available is tremendous. That's like having a showing agent on standby to show anybody who calls in. And it happens probably a whole lot more for home inspectors than it does for us.
It does.
Guaranteed. You got a contract this morning, I need to schedule the inspection. How soon can we do it? How can we lock this up?
Right. You would get a contract accepted late at night on Saturday or even on a Sunday, hop online, schedule it. All those text messages hit the office. They also hit my phone and my wife's phone. So if the office is unavailable, I mean, that's running a business is 24/7. So, oh, ding. Okay, yeah, we got it. No problem.
You have to be accessible, and it's the same on this side. So as a business owner, a leader, you're responsible for your staff. You're responsible for the people that work for you, work with you. That is kind of your extended family.
Right.
But no one really thinks about the business leader and who's influential for them. Who has been influential in your life or has given you some great advice along the way?
Oh, easily my wife. I mean, she's probably the most influential person I know. She guides me. She tells me when I'm wrong, which apparently is often. She's never wrong, which is great.
They never let you forget when that happens either.
You know, my dad was always a workhorse, and I have a lot of respect for him. My mom as well. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. My mom works for the company.
Oh.
She answers our phones. So when you call on Giddy Lane, you get my mom.
So you're saying when your mom doesn't answer the phone, that's when you and your wife get buzzed?
Right.
Okay.
Well, no, she doesn't work weekends. You know, and there's been lots of people that have given me guidance through like other inspection company owners as well. So all through the U.S., we've got a great network of people that we know, and they always, when I can't find the answer, somebody has it somewhere. It's just a matter of finding that somebody.
That's 100% true. And no matter at what level you are, everyone has somebody else for a piece of guidance along the way. And the President of the United States has a cabinet of advisors.
Exactly.
The most powerful person in our country has a group of people that they go to. And if they were so much smarter, why aren't they the president? Right? It's a team effort. Everybody gets better. More minds in the mix do better. If you could go back in time, what would you have done differently in growing your business?
I would have grown sooner. I would have been less of I can do everything myself. You know, starting off the CEO, the chief everything officer. You know, you're the top to the janitor. So I would have immediately started looking to grow and looking to place people to guarantee success on both ends, our end and their end.
Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah.
And it'd be really nice to go back even further than 2020 to be able to make changes like that. And I think we could all be smarter if we did that. There's got to be challenges that come up and ways that you pivot to keep things efficient, to keep things smooth, to keep yourself accessible and working with more and more of the relationships that you've been building over these years.
Right.
What are some of the challenges that you guys run into, and how are you able to overcome them? What I'm hoping to get here are some lessons learned as a business owner that applies to realtors, mortgage brokers, anybody who's running a business. We run into similar obstacles and objections.
Right. Over expense is a big challenge. Making sure you're not spending too much. Complacency. Getting comfortable in whatever you're doing and not wanting to go to the next step, knowing that the next step can take you leaps and bounds from where you are. And that goes from everybody. You know, it goes from me as the leader of the business, all the inspectors, the office staff, you know, developing, breaking process, not following the process. Process is key. As soon as you break process, you miss something in inspection. You forget to ask a question. You have to call somebody back and waste your time on the phone. Hey, I totally forgot. Who's the listing agent on this property? Because Realtor.com is not always right.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. So when do you feel you've been successful in your business?
I like to think so.
Okay. What is that line for you? What makes you feel I'm successful at what I do?
We're able to provide for 23 different families, so 23 different employees we're able to provide for. The company is profitable, and we're going to do 4,300 inspections this year. 4,300
inspections.
So that's 4,300 families we've impacted this year.
I'd say that's successful. That's certainly impactful. I go through the same kind of mindset when we're talking about success. It's as your company grows and you have more people join your extended family, your staffing, you are taking responsibility for those people.
Yeah.
It's like having 23 more children.
Uh-huh.
Some of them you love and some of them you love to have around.
Yeah.
So when all things are said and done, what's your ultimate goal with this business? Where do you want to go?
As far as I can go. I mean, I'll take it to where it goes. I have no limit. There's no, do we want to end up statewide? Absolutely. We're covering all
of Miami right now. You're almost
there. We're all of Southeast Florida. Next step is going to be west, I think. We still go over there. I tell everybody, listen, if it's outside the area, just say please and we'll make it work. And as long as you're nice, we'll make it work. We got inspectors go to Naples. We had an inspector go to Tallahassee for an inspection. It was a big inspection, but he went to Tallahassee.
Yeah.
Tried to fly him, but he doesn't fly.
So what's the coolest inspection you guys have done? Home inspections that are cool. It's kind of a weird way to look at it, but there's got to be something you guys did, and at the end you're like, that was cool.
We've done some really cool houses. To see those really large houses are pretty impressive. We've done a couple of them with pools on the roof. Those are pretty awesome. $37 million properties. Those are always something on the ocean. You can't help but send a picture to the rest of the team. We've got an inspector group chat that goes all day, every day. 11 guys texting back and forth. Hey, look at this, look what I found. So
if you have a $37 million home and it's not on the water, it shouldn't be selling for $37 million.
It actually wasn't on the water.
You just said it was on the water?
No, we've got other ones that are on the water. The $37 million was not on the water.
Really?
Really.
So it just had to be a monstrosity about it.
It was big.
Yeah.
It was really big. And it was all glass.
All glass. Commercial building?
No.
Do you guys do commercial inspections?
Absolutely.
You do? Fantastic. I have a referral for you, by the way.
Cool.
Someone literally yesterday asked me for a commercial inspector. So perfect. We'll do. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our audience that I haven't asked you? I want to talk about some of these funny things that you see or you've had to call out. You're holding back on stories.
We don't call them out because it would be uncomfortable for everybody.
Okay.
Stuff stored in the attic that just was only up there to keep it warm.
You've never seen dead bodies, right?
No.
Okay.
Animals, yes.
Animals. Okay.
Yeah, not people though.
No.
Fake dead bodies. Lots of that. Halloween decorations.
When you say fake dead bodies, mannequins, dolls,
skeletons. Nothing says awesome like popping an attic hatch in a totally dark attic and having two red glowing eyes staring at you. That's always fun.
Have you ever had an inspector have a heart attack when seeing a skeleton?
I've had inspectors attacked by dogs. I've had inspectors call me and tell me they almost fell off a roof. I've almost fallen off a roof.
Almost doesn't count.
It's scary. I counted. I counted a little.
You felt it in your hands.
Yeah, everywhere else too. Yeah. I think we covered a lot.
So when you're going over, there's been, let's say 2024 has been a year of a lot of change.
Yes.
And I'm sure in any ancillary business that ties back to real estate feels that effect.
Absolutely.
How would you feel that you have changed or have been required, not necessarily required by law, but just by the course of operating a business? What has 2024 caused you to kind of change or shift in your business?
It just kind of, it's very similar to like COVID in 2020. You just have to know, you just have to pivot. You can't just sit back and wait for everything to come back to how it was because it's never going to be.
Right.
The NAR settlement changed how a lot of people looked at everything. It really didn't change much. It just made sure that everything was there. Now it's just in writing. The election kind of screwed up 2024 a little. Nobody knew what was going to happen, so just kind of had to sit back and wait for that to play its course. And now we're in the holidays. That's slowing down everything. So it's really just a matter of not being so stuck in one way that you can't change with the rest of the world changing. If you don't change, you're going to be stuck and you're never going to go anywhere.
So you mentioned how COVID changed your industry, right? And most of that had to do with, number one, we had the lockdown.
Right.
But number two, it was you weren't able to kind of sit at a table like this. We're not appropriately socially distanced from each other.
Right.
I'm a little uncomfortable right now, Ricky.
Yeah, you should have a mask on.
I should, right? I was on an airplane today, and there was like 12.5 people wearing masks on the airplane.
Yeah.
I struck up a little bet with the person next to me, and I said, mark my word, they're all three in that row. They're going to remove their mask at some point on this flight, and it defeated the purpose of having it in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they all did.
It's like wearing the mask that doesn't cover your nose, right?
Yeah. Or wearing it in your car by yourself.
Still love those. So 2020, we had those changes in the way people interact.
Yeah.
How did that affect your business?
It affected our marketing. You know, if we're going, our primary source of referrals are real estate agents. So it is you've been seeing us for a long time.
Yep.
As far as you can remember, like we were constantly coming in. Hey, how's everything going? You know, we'd love to have a chat. Because all we ever said was just give us one time. After that, you're with us for life. But couldn't do that. You know, you go to an inspection and real estate agents weren't showing up. Clients weren't showing up. Nobody wanted to be around everybody. Yeah. So no option of talking to that listing agent and possibly converting them to a referring partner. So it was a little rough, but it just required a lot of phone calls, a lot of emails, a lot of text messages, and other ways of contact.
So a lot of the realtor side, the working with buyers and sellers for transactions, really shifted into, we did a lot of virtual things, right? We did a lot of FaceTime, a lot of Zoom, a lot of Google Meets. And I fully anticipated that shifting and doing more on the ancillary businesses. Title definitely pivoted. They were doing remote notarized closings, online closings, mortgage. They were able to get appraisal waivers and drive-by appraisals done to keep people out of intimate contact with each other. But you're dealing with a physical asset. You don't really have a way to pivot out of that.
Nope.
Did you guys see any trend with people wanting to attend via FaceTime instead of in person?
Absolutely. People wanting full video recording of the entire inspection. People wanting, that's part of the reason we switched to the software we're on now. The previous software, when you're doing a point and shoot camera, you can't, it just creates a PDF. It's super basic. There was no way to put video. So the new software lets us put video in. So,
nice.
You know, to be able to see the garbage disposal making the noise it's making without just saying, made a funny sound. You know, people want to know what the funny sound like. Was it screaming? Was it grinding? Was it crunching? It's like, I don't have time for putting these selectables in the report.
So you can download template clips based on different sounds that disposals would make.
Exactly.
You just whichever
override
sound have a different diagnostic for that. But before we wrap up, I wanted to ask you a couple more things. So with that trend in going through virtual inspections and FaceTime during inspections and video uploads, do you find that that's kind of carried over and stuck around like Zoom has done?
No, because people wanted to, Zoom really hasn't stuck around as much as I thought it would. People wanted to see the house. A lot of people still put in offers sight unseen, and they don't see the house for the first time until we're out there. You know, so they'll walk in and go, oh my gosh, this is not what I thought it was. Look around.
And you're there for the home inspection, like, haven't you seen this house, buddy?
Yeah. So, well, what can you give me Cliff's Notes on it so far? Well, I've only done the exterior and roof, so I got this, and this. And a lot of times they'll make the decision right then and there. Do they want to continue on or do they want to stop? You know, we had our termite inspector walked up to the house, saw a little bit of wood rot on the fascia, poked it, handful of live termites fell out into his hand. The guy says, stop the inspection, we're done.
See, these are the stories I was looking for, Ricky.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're holding back on me.
Yeah.
I didn't need to know about finding, or hanging women's underwear on the bedroom doors so you don't go in.
Sorry.
I don't know. That's a thought inspection.
We need like a not safe for work one.
So that's for the one that doesn't have our actual names. We have
Correct.
stage names for that interview and no faces. You can't see me. Where can our listeners connect with you? Where can they get behind your message or your mission?
Lots of places. So they go on our website, guardianangelinspections.com. That'll allow them to read about the company, read about our story. We have an about page that has my little boy on it that has, why we do what we do. They can call the office, 561-512-7854, schedule inspections from there. If they want to support the Drowning Awareness Foundation that we support, it's called Live Like Jake. You go to livelikejake.com and make a donation. We go to they have a gala every year. They have a 5K every year that we sponsor and attend and bring the team out and let them all run and get heart attacks. And,
you can do it though. You can do it. I haven't been to the gym in 18 months and ran a 5K in Boston. And
awesome.
It was easier than I thought for how in shape I am. I'm in shape. I'm round.
Right.
That's shape.
I actually have that same shape.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hey. So leading a business is more more than just servicing the clientele. Start with a who on who you're going to be providing services to,
Right.
and then figure out why you're doing it.
The why is important.
If you can combine the two of those, ultimately you will find success through one pathway or another, and that's no goal. I appreciate you coming in, Ricky.
No problem.
Thanks, my friend.